How's it going, Brody? How you doing, little man?
Let's see. Right now it says we're live, but it's got the watch party is yet to click on. So let me see here. There we go. Mute you. We're landscape mode. Sorry, everybody, for the sideways head. And we're live, Brody. There we are. There's me and my guest today, Horror Cat Dad, the longtime homie from the internet. This is a very special occasion for us. He and I have never seen each other in person. So to get a look at him up close like this, it's kind of blowing my mind. You're much more handsome than I thought you to be. I mean, no offense. I'm just saying, like, you're a handsome devil.
Well, I mean, it's well, thank you. I mean, that's very flattering. Um, what
Pinch
can
your
I
little
say?
cheek.
It's the beard. It's the beard. It does wonders.
The chicks dig the cats. The chicks
Oh
dig the
yeah,
cats, man. They love it.
yeah, they
Well,
do.
hey, here's K-pop. She's here to see the unmasking of our friend Larry, horror cat dad.
Well,
He's a very good looking dude. It's his flesh and blood appearance here on the internet. Besides just hands, it's kind of blowing our mind. This is also welcome Patrick, the cheetah dad.
Cheetah Dad, how's it going?
Cheetah dad. Okay, so that does answer the question of will we still get comments with both of us on the screen? So,
Yeah, I do see him.
all right.
I'm
So,
guessing. I'm guessing everybody loves the Funko version of myself,
it's
or I mean
yeah,
the real version, the real
the
version.
real you, the
Sorry,
real you. You're very
the real
small.
me.
Don't make fun of your height. It's not anything you can help.
Yeah, it's
So,
genetics.
exactly, you cursed with it. But yeah, basically, I'm really just anxious to see how long you can go deep into this movie. You're gonna have the most swole right delt ever. You're just gonna be by the end of the movie. It's gonna be outrageous. Okay, good. Yeah, we're up and running. Looking good. I have no idea how to switch us either way, but everything looks nice. Two people on YouTube. There we go, kids. We had to do a
Nice.
test run earlier, but here it is. First time ever that either of us have. Well, this is Larry. Is this your first live stream?
It is my first live stream, so
Uh, you
yeah,
said you and your
uh,
buddies got together during quarantine and watched some movies.
yeah, we would get online, and you know what? I'm getting tired of this. Hey, everybody, how's it going?
Oh, there he is, the unveiling of the handsome Larry Horror, the horror cat dad.
Yeah,
Longtime
no,
friend of the channel.
yeah, man, love your channel. I mean, you were probably one of the first, people that would comment quite a bit, and I'm not exactly sure how you found my channel. I don't think we ever talked about that. So
I was trying to remember. You were in the uh. Well, I know we found each other. We started talking because of Movie Dumpster. Um, but I was already following you when we started making jokes between us on the Movie Dumpster chat. One of their episodes, they did a premiere, and we were both in the chat. And then after that, it was like, "Oh, hey, horror cat dad." And then, yeah, I
kind of
don't
just
remember.
kind of spiraled out of from there, right? How's it going,
Yeah, then
everybody?
ever since then, yeah. So yeah,
Uh, Cheetah Dad, Cheetah. The cats they'll probably make an appearance, or they'll probably come into the man cave here in a bit. They're kind of like all over the house right now. They were here earlier when we were getting everything set up, but then like one came in, left. The other one came in, left. They were like, okay,
so there'd be
whatever.
special guest appearances in this stream. Another reason to watch.
Yeah, they might. I mean, cheers,
Nice.
everybody. By the way.
Oh, sorry about that. Uh, um, yeah, so this is a monumentous occasion for many things. This is our version of Neil Armstrong landing on the moon. We're trying to figure out how to do a watch along between two people without dragging StreamYard into it. So this YouTube app has been a wild ride. We had to do a test run earlier. We've been trying to figure out exactly how sound works, how the camera works. All of it's been a wild ride. So I see Katie's in the chat just running it, moderating her little buns off. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. She already
Thanks,
posted your
Katie.
link. She already
Thank
posted
you
the
so
link to your
much.
channel. So be sure to check out the Horror Cat Dad's content. If once you see how great his content is, I also recommend checking out our friend in the chat, Brody's Creature Corner. He's same neck of the woods, same church, different pew, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, Brody's got some good stuff, man. He's got a lot of cool classic NECA stuff. And
But
Little Man's into some hardcore, like he's horror, man, really. So
yeah,
yeah, thanks for showing up, Brody.
yeah, like having the young buck around. That's what you're talking about. Is it's cool to have teenage us hanging out.
Yeah, man.
We got Echo Zero in the chat. If any of you are going to watch along, I'll say this up front. It's on HBO or Max, whatever you want to call it these days. Also, obviously, if you want to queue up your favorite home media presentation of it, go ahead. I have the old school DVD. Larry has the Blu-ray. That's a sweet one. That is nice.
So I got to say something real quick about this quote unquote Ultimate Hunter Blu-ray.
Okay.
Uh, that's
It
it.
was empty, or it's one of those.
It's just the Blu-ray. There's nothing in it.
Oh,
You know.
really?
Yeah, you would think Ultimate Hunter. They made it sound like it's like you have to
Yeah.
have it, and then
It's
it's
just flat out Blu-ray, even that cheapo, like eco-friendly plastic that's all squishy. It feels like it's gonna break.
yeah.
Brother. That's the thing. As the slow phase out of physical media goes before our eyes, we see, back in the 80s, that stuff used to be durable. You could like beat a home invader to death with a VCR tape.
Oh
And
yeah.
then it became the DVDs, and they were a little less, whatever. But then the Blu-rays came along, and both the packaging got weaker and weaker. And then now, like, you have to scramble to find whatever you can find as they go away. It's sad.
I feel like even though with the even still with the DVDs, you can fling a DVD at somebody and then maybe get them in the eye if they're not have protective gear.
I
Might
think
might
you've
do
got
some
the
damage.
boy. I think. I mean, I don't know. It depends how many discs you keep next to the bed. Like, when they break in the middle of the night, you got to straight shuriken style them. Yep.
Yeah.
The chat is breaking down. Jason takes Manhattan. Brody's leading the charge on that. Good man. I like that.
I got to say, like, Jason Takes Manhattan isn't the worst. In my
What's your least?
opinion, it's
Go
got
ahead.
it's Jason Goes to Hell.
That one, it's like that last Matrix movie. It's the worst of them, but it's the most insane. So if you were going to tell
Hmm.
somebody, you got to see this shit. Did you see the Jason one where the snake comes out of his mouth and it possesses people, and there's a cult, and then there's the bounty hunter that only hunts Jason, even though we've never heard of this dude for like 8 movies or whatever. Like, when you start explaining it to somebody, it's batshit insane. So
Yeah.
so for that, it has a like, what the hell is going on with Jason Goes to Hell? But
Yeah.
Jason Goes to Manhattan, it's, of course it's dumb because they're on the boat the whole time, and then the little bit they are in New York, he's in the alley, like, or the alleys, and like is he in the sewer at some point with the toxic sludge? Where does that come along? I think that's in the
That's
sewer.
at the end when you have that weird baby face Jason looking thing.
But that's
I
what I
will.
mean. They got no New York shots. It could be anywhere. It could be just a set. Like, I think there's that one iconic shot of him in Times Square that they used for
Yeah,
the commercial.
that was the only time that they shot. That was the only
Yeah.
time that they could shoot in. That's the only thing they could afford. Everything else was like in Vancouver, I think, or something.
Yeah, that would make sense. But the rest of the movie is just, it kind
Jason
of
on a
follows the,
boat.
yeah, basically it follows the Friday the 13th plot, except it's just so dumb. Like, why would a boat go from a lake to an ocean, and just all of it? Like, I don't think Crystal Lake is attached to an ocean by any water, but what do I know? I'm
I mean,
I'm not
it's a
familiar with
magic,
New Jersey waterways.
but Crystal Lake can also bring back somebody from the dead, apparently. So
He's got a
eight
real
eight times.
yeah. Well, the first seven you don't really appreciate life. It's not until your eighth rebirth that you learn to have zest and you appreciate the pizza tastes a little sweeter on your eighth rebirth. Yeah, the chat's breaking down Friday the
I
13th.
know, man. It's like how do
It's nice to see.
we're here for Predator, and it's like Friday the 13th is just maybe it's the hat.
Well, I was wearing a Friday the 13th shirt the other day, and somebody stopped me and was like, "What shirt is that?" It's Friday the Jason. You familiar? Like, so it's that time of year. People. There's going to be a Friday the 13th in October. Are you excited?
I am. I
It
am.
feels like two Halloweens.
Yeah, I got a couple. I got some. I have something planned for that too. So hopefully,
Oh, sneak
hope,
preview.
hopefully, if stuff goes well for that week leading up to the Friday the 13th, like I'll have a couple Friday the 13th theme videos for that week.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, for Halloween time especially, check out the Horror Cat Dad's channel. Um, he's got all sorts of like awesome horror collectibles and just the detail that goes into the making of them, just the face sculptures and the little like tiny like accessories and extra replaceable hands and all that. It's so fascinating. He goes into the deep detail. So
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
for
Like making
Halloween,
me
you're a must
like.
follow.
Well, and interestingly enough, in October, that's when I started YouTube. So it's also gonna be my 1 year anniversary in October.
That is sweet. And you're four away from 400, 300. What are we at?
300.
300. So you're four away from 300. I saw. So for those of you watching, you're not only picking up awesome content, you're rounding out an even number. So if you have OCD, go follow the man immediately just to make the universe go back to balance. You won't be able to sleep at night if you don't.
Oh man,
Um,
you want to talk about OCD? Sorry to go off on a tangent, but with all these like VHS watch parties I've been watching recently, man, it's nuts, dude. I keep wanting to say all the VHS once I started getting older, I would cut the cellophane under and keep the
oh,
cellophane. I was that crazy, like when it comes to
in
protecting the
in hindsight, that was probably a really smart move because moisture is the main thing that attacks the VHS. I mean, it can still get in there through the air underneath and stuff,
right.
but it's more secure than the way you're going, though. I like that. I think if people knew to do that back in the day, they would have done it. It's just I'm OCD the other way. Having cellophane on everything would kind of bug the shit out of me. Like it would just be
Huh.
like everything looks like shiny and plasticky, like nothing looks used. I don't know.
I get
You're sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say you got the awesome Predator horror your collection of figures. You have like all the Predators from well, almost. You're working on it. The Lost Tribe from Part Two. Do you have
Yeah,
like do you have the original Predator from Predator One? Do you have one of those? Oh, see, I knew you would. And that's
I
what I
got
was gonna
this.
show you.
I got
Um,
this guy. I got this guy actually this year. It's a reissue, but I got him this
okay.
year. And then another one that I'm really happy to have now is and I got him this year also is a thermal version Dutch.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. That it's Arnold Schwarzenegger through the Predator's vision. So it's like, you're that's a crazy variant for an action figure. Like if you're gonna have something different on your shelf, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was like when I man keeping the eagle eye on eBay for sure. It's like I got him at a crazy good price. So it was like
That that's kind of the
yeah,
classic stuff that you always show me on your channel. Like when you had the speaking of Friday the 13th, there's the old school excuse me, NES game where Jason is like the purple and teal, and you had like a variation on that, and like you were breaking down stuff like that's so cool because nobody even thinks why would they make a toy for that. So that's the type of stuff when you lay it on me on your channel, like oh deep cut, I like it.
well,
You
see, that's
know,
the thing. When I first saw that one, I was like, that was. I mean, I love that game. Um, I played it a lot with a buddy of mine, Monroy. him and I, we would play it all the time at his house when we were younger, and never passed it, could never beat it, but man, it was so fun playing it. The jump scares, all that stuff. So like growing up and finally seeing like it in figure form, it was like, man, I had to have it. The odd thing about it though is just like the mold on that Jason is from like, I think it's from Friday the 13th Part 3, like that
Yeah,
Jason.
yeah.
But the cover is Jason 7. It's Kane Hodder's Jason, which doesn't make sense, but
That's how I
whatever.
knew you were legit, because that was one of your first videos I watched. And then when you're like, if you look at his mask and you look at his outfit and stuff, you're like, this is the part 3 Jason, not the video game. Yeah. So when you started going into the different Jason variant details of how wrong it was, because I was fresh off of I was watching some of those live streams of that game, that open world Friday the 13th game they have, where people like go into Crystal Lake and kill each other. Like, there's the streams of those are awesome. And that's, I think, the first time I saw that redone teal and purple one or whatever in there. So yeah, the idea that you knew all your Jasons and you had them in order, I was like, this man's legit. He knows his stuff.
Hey man, USA back in the day on Friday the 13th, they would do the marathon
Mm-hmm.
all day. So like I think that was the first time I saw the first Jason, the first Friday the 13th, and I was like, wait, where's Jason? Because I the first one I had really seen was part 6. So that was my first like time seeing, the first one went in the USA marathons, and I was just like, holy cow, man, like this is so cool.
They would
You
blast
know,
through them. They would often show them out of order. Sometimes they wouldn't have the rights to like just number 5 or something, so they would just run through
yeah.
them and then they'd skip over one. Like, where the hell 5 go? Uh,
At
Anyways,
the same, yeah. Enough
we
about
got to cut off
Jason.
Friday the 13th. This damn chat has got us derailed from the Predator. We are here to talk about the Arnold Schwarzenegger classic, the Predator. Uh, we were talking yesterday on my watch along of The Running Man. What are your top 3 Schwarzeneggers? I know Commando is probably one, right? You're a big no underwear guy.
Oh yeah. Top three, hands down. Top three are in no order. Uh, is definitely Predator, Commando, and the first Terminator.
Nice. Yeah,
If
they.
I top five would be Total Recall, Running Man.
There you go. But see, even then, when you go that far, you're still leaving out T2 and Conan. Like, his oeuvre is very impressive for a dude that gets made fun of. He's got a lot of killer movies.
He does, and I mean, they're not even like talking about like Raw Deal. We're not even like talking the Red Heat, with
Oh yeah.
Belushi. Raw Deal, I feel is like the Cobra, his version of Cobra in a way.
Raw Deal is the one where he's an undercover cop who gets killed and he comes back and he's
Yeah,
Remo Williams.
yeah.
You ever see that one? Remo Williams, he invents him
No,
again.
I haven't seen it. A buddy of mine, he keeps telling me all the time how good Remo Williams is, and I need to watch it
That's one of
every
those.
time.
It doesn't necessarily stand up, but it's fun. I recommend it.
I'll have to watch it. It was I think it was on Tubi or somewhere recently, and I was like, man, either way, I acquired it, and I still need to watch it. But it's one of those movies that I want to watch with that buddy. Like I keep telling him, hey
Yeah.
man, I got it on my hard drive, and he's like, okay, well, let's watch Last Boy Scout, or let's watch like Great White Hype. I'm like, okay, whatever.
The Great White Hype. I'm in shape, round. Uh,
So what about you, man?
I've been
What's your
trying to
top
give
three?
it thought. The top 3 is just so hard. I really was trying to like run through them all and think of like um I'm gonna have to go Predator 1, Conan the Barbarian 2, T1 3. And I can't believe I'm leaving Commando on the outside. Because I saw Commando in the theater and watched it so many
Wow.
times on VHS that like it like is burned into my mind. Like him with the ice cream in the beginning, trying to be all endearing father guy and all that.
Hey man, if you want to do another one, if this one is successful, we got to do Commando or Conan, one or the other.
See, but even then, part of me right now is like upset at myself. Like, I can't believe you left Total Recall out. So that's what I'm saying. Arnold's a killer, man. He puts on awesome movies.
Well, that's why
Um,
top five. I
top
put Total
five,
Recall in top
yeah.
five. I mean
Well, that's
Verhoeven,
why
man.
three was. Last night, somebody had twins in three in their top three. I think that was maybe Mikey's Morgue. I can't remember, but
I can't.
um,
I'm not gonna hate on anybody, man, for liking twins. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there that has Kindergarten Cop on their top three. You know,
that's what I said. It's not a tumor. Somebody out there likes.
Eraser. I mean,
Nobody likes Eraser. Eraser's top 20. I, I,
gee,
I remember he was doing publicity for it when that came out. This is the biggest, best movie I've ever made in my entire life. If you've never seen the movie, go see this. It's like Arnold's he's playing the hits at this point.
it's like when Cameron was talking up Dark Fate. You remember that? He was like, "Oh
The,
yeah, this is the best since the original or something like that." I can't remember what he said.
I have no idea why they would do that. I think it's just people will forget. It's like when athletes say they guarantee they're going to win. It's like people will just forget. It doesn't matter. Just say an old crazy thing you want.
Not in this day and age, man. Not with the internet.
Bastards. All right. So we're 4 minutes away from 10:30. What do you think? Should we start her at 10:30 on the nose, or you want to start it
Yeah,
now? What are you feeling wild? We
I'll
can go with 4 minutes.
wait
Let's
4 minutes.
we'll go with 10:30. Like I said, I'm gonna watch this on streaming on Max. Um, I pressed play and then paused it, and I can see that there's gonna be commercials and all that. That Max, that's what they do, man. That's their business model. So um I might be a little behind you. Are you watching the disc then, or
Yeah,
okay?
I figured safe bet. I'll just put it on the disc.
This way I won't be
So
rocking on the screen too bad.
I'm at five. I guess 5 seconds. I'm at 5 seconds. The 20th Century Fox, 20th Century Disney.
Okay. Let me actually start this now and get right to the 20th Century Disney thing, and then I'll pause it, and then we'll start at the. Oh, wow, this one just jumped straight to it. So I'm at 20th Century Fox too. Wow. Okay, never mind. No
Nice.
commercial. I stand corrected. David Zasloff, you have proven me wrong once again. Cheetah says that Prey will soon be released from Disney. Did you see Prey?
I did.
I didn't.
Really?
Hurting on that one. I know it's hurting my feelings. I
Uh
don't have Hulu. So I
uh
had Hulu, and I was like, I've seen all of Fargo and I've seen some of the other stuff, and it's one of the things where I'll just pick it back up because I had that Disney bundle thing where you get it in ESPN and all that. So I just canceled that whole thing, and I never went back. And since then, Prey has come out, Hellraiser's come out, Disney added a bunch of Star Wars junk, so I'm gonna have to like go back and redo it.
I mean Hellraiser 2, man, it's also good. I liked
I
it.
can't believe Prey was good. It looked like garbage when I saw it, the clips and the idea of it. I'm like, oh, Native American. I don't want to see this. And then everybody's like, nope, maybe the best one since the Arnold one. Like, you don't like it
It
better than two?
I like it. I like 2 better.
You like two better?
Oh yeah, man.
What
I don't
about
care what any
Predators?
I like it better than Predators. You know why? I'll tell you why, and this is what I tell everybody. The reason why is because the roar in Prey is the roar of the Predator. Like Predators and everything since they've gotten the roar wrong. But I do like Predators. I do like it. It'll be my
Predators
that's my
good.
fourth. That's my fourth favorite. But Predator 2, yeah. I don't care what anybody says, Predator 2 is good. I actually saw that one in the theater at a young age when I shouldn't have seen it. But my uncle took me to go see it. And
Predator
I've been a
2 is
fan.
another. That's another one where it just looks like garbage. You're like, this is good. Danny Glover in a Predator movie, then that's in the city. This is going to be so bad. And then you start watching it, and there's like Jamaican street gangs and like a whole police corruption thing, and like it draws you in. It's
And,
irresistible.
and you got Gary Busey.
Gary Busey is Paxton in that? Who the hell's in that one?
Yep.
Paxton. Yep. Nice. Yep. That was a classic. All right, we're 10:29. You want to go ahead and just give her play?
Yeah, we
Anybody
can.
where else? Anybody else out there going to stream along? We're going to go ahead and start this. It's on Max or in your personal collection, or I'm sure various means, whether it's illegal or not. Hey, here's Sean Blue Digital. Sean, we're just getting ready to hit play. Perfect timing. So we'll go with play. 3, 2, 1, play.
All right.
There we go. Yeah, I'm on the 20th Century Fox logo. I got my captions on. Got my
Got the
chat up.
fanfare.
Got the fanfare. That's what mine said too. Yep. Why are you? Oh, wait a minute. You're frozen. Okay, you did freeze. I must have pressed it twice. I got overexcited. Sorry.
It's all the
Dun,
it's
dun,
all
dun,
the
dun.
testosterone in the movie.
It's just it's all got me pumped up. Another question I brought up last night in Running Man, and this is you got to be secure in your masculinity in this. What's best Arnold body? Like, I think most muscular is obviously when he's young, like Pumping Iron and Hercules in New York and Conan. Like, he's
Oh,
ridiculous.
Conan is like straight on like beefcake, man. Like he's like
That's
just
he's
my good. Like
he's
that dude.
walking monkey hormones. Like, in
Yeah.
between scenes, he's getting rhino semen injected into his biceps and stuff. Like, he's ridiculous, dude. Um, Sean's currently on a panel on another stream. Has to come back. See you later. Okay, cool. Thank you, Sean, for dropping in while you're in the middle of things, dude. That's why you're awesome.
Thanks for coming, Sean, man.
We were just talking about Predators, the Adrian Brody one, the Robert Rodriguez produced one. That's Sean's did that last night on his channel. So a good double feature would be watch us and then go over there and watch that and get your daily intake of Predator.
I'll definitely check that one out because I do like that one quite a bit. I like the
Predators.
idea of it. And I like the concept. I wish Fishburne would have been. I feel like he was miscast a little bit.
Fishburne, he's got isn't there a reveal about him towards the end, as I recall?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't his character? Yeah. So at least they give him something to do. My credits just went by. It said Jesse Ventura, Sonny Landham. We see in the helicopter land. So there's a timestamp for you.
There's Carl
Kevin
Weathers
Peter.
taking a sip. And then Carl Weathers sipping his drink just like I'm doing.
Okay, that's exactly where I'm at now. So there's Carl Weathers sipping his drink. That's at 1:44:12, and Jesse just opened the helicopter door, and him and Bill Dukes and Sonny Landham. Talk about gravitas. Like, this was the first Expendables. Like, every one of these
Oh yeah.
dudes, when they get, even stupid Shane Black, who has no business being there, has gravitas. He just gets the rub from the other dudes. And there's Dutch smoking a
Oh,
cigar.
oh yeah. I wish they would have had like a no smoking and like a little sign in the background. That would have
Just
just
a,
made it that much more like, like
he doesn't care.
yeah.
So what's his backstory? Him and Dutch and Dylan had some sort of adventures before this that we never saw. They were together in the CIA or something.
No,
Whatever.
they were the military, but I think Dylan he's now a part of the CIA or
Got you.
does missions for CIA.
And then Dutch is basically what, like Blackwater? He's like an independent mercenary kind of.
No, he's still I think still here. They talk about it too, where he's like they do like rescue like ops type stuff. That's why they brought him in here to do like a rescue mission. And
See,
even
that's
Dutch
kind of what
says it.
so no.
No, even
Um
Dutch says it. He's like, we're a rescue team, not assassins. Like he says it coming up here in
yeah.
a bit.
But that's kind of I didn't understand if they're like like, are they part of the military? Like, is he Colonel Dutch something, or is this like a separate group of it's been a
No,
long time, General?
he's a major. He's a Major Dutch Schaefer. Major.
Oh, Major. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like I would say, going back to your previous question, I think Conan was probably like his biggest because
He's
I feel like
humongous.
Commando in this one he's more like leaner. He's more short. He's still
Yeah.
pretty big, I mean, you see him in Commando holding that tree trunk. It's kind of like it's like no man in the
Yeah.
world can probably do that other than Arnold. Oh, here we go.
Well, but see, that's weird though, because the Terminator per se, and in that one he has to be naked. Yeah, here's the hand, the classic
Boom.
hand. You son of a bitch.
What's the matter?
I need someone. I need tremendous biceps. I need someone who can do the hand way with me. I need someone who is my equal. Look at him, and he is too. That's awesome. That Carl Weathers, talk about stepping it up. Like
Right?
he was way ahead of Sylvester Stallone. Like Stallone feels beneath him in the Rocky movies, and then by the time they get to Rocky 3, Stallone and him are pretty much equal. And then Carl Weathers is like, all right, I guess I'll get on the gas and get a little swole and maybe do Action Jackson. And next thing you know, I'm a big action star.
Yeah, man. And
You
he
know,
got this, and it's like, yeah. When I saw him in this, I was like, wow, got Apollo Creed or Action Jackson.
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. You would think after getting his butt kicked in the Rocky movies, he would have lost his whatever his scariness, his tough guyness. But no, he's just as tough as ever.
Oh yeah,
Cool helps a lot. Like he's Schwarzenegger's way stronger, but cool plus muscles kind of balances it out. That's a quality mustache too, though.
oh yeah.
Katie moderating the chat. Um,
The thing about this,
yeah,
I would say this movie, like, I think the first time I saw it definitely was on VHS, and man, every time they would show it on like TBS or whatever, I had to watch it. It's like every time I watch this, like I remember just back then, man. It's just good times to. They would show movies like this on TV, on cable, like regular cable TV. I mean, yeah, it
yeah, the
was like
edited version.
edited and stuff, but I mean,
This Little Richard. For some reason, that's just one of the many things that comes to my mind. Like there's just all the different things that make up Predator, and somehow Little Richard is the soundtrack, is part of it always.
I never noticed that said Sanyo. I had a Sanyo like boombox when I was a teenager.
I think I maybe had that same boombox as like my first one, like probably 4 years before this came out. So, but Jesse doesn't go to the whatever the Best Buy of the day was. And now these two characters I merge. The guy who's sort of just half generic looking, and then the guy who tells all the dirty jokes, like Shane Black, like the two of them are like the same dude to me. Like I know they're two separate guys, but when I remember Predator, I just combine those characters because why are they two separate people?
For
I
plot.
don't the one guy gets to tell jokes is the only thing.
Yeah, but I feel like they all kind of rib on each other, you know? Because I mean, there's a line
Oh,
that Pancho says to Blaine Ventura's character coming up when he tells him like when he says some derogatory comments, and then you
Sonny
got
Landham.
Sonny. I mean, man, that guy. I mean, you know the like the back. You've obviously you must know the backstory how they had bodyguards, right, to protect like the rest of the cast and the crew from him when they were making this
Uh-uh.
movie. You didn't know
No, I
that?
didn't know that. I know
Yeah,
Sonny's crazy, but I didn't know he was that crazy.
yeah. They had a bunch of people like. I love this part when he's like trying to get everybody to do
The
the
dip with
chaw.
him.
Oh man,
Make a
just like me,
goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus.
just like me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stick this up your
Bill Duke.
sore ass, Blaine.
That is brilliant acting right there. Bill Dukes knew he could just sit there with the freaking razor and just quietly dry shave, and it would be creepy as hell. And then the
But that's
scene
a,
where he snaps it.
oh yeah, that's like the I saw a meme one time that said like the scariest thing in Predator was like that scene, like
Pretty
him
much.
like, and that was the picture like the broken and then a little bit of blood.
So did Sonny Landham ever get a hold of anybody, or was that just from day one? They were like, "We're gonna put you in solitary confinement. You're a problem, dude." Or
I think he was. I don't remember hearing anything like if he actually got to anybody, but they had hired like bodyguards for like everybody else to kind of because they knew he was kind of like a problem.
well, uh, I remember. I think the first time I ever saw him was in 48 Hours. He's oh god, what's old boy's name? I can't think of his name. The main bad guy. Uh, he's his sidekick, and he's just sort of the silent evil killer that rolls with the bad guy. And he doesn't even really need any lines. He doesn't need much of a backstory. He's just his face is like, yeah, I don't want any trouble with that guy. As soon as you show up with him, I want to leave. Like, get him out of my house.
What's interesting in this one is like you see him later on when he de shirts himself and it's like he kind of looks a little schlubbish. Like he doesn't look as ripped as like Arnold or any of these other guys. But the fact that to think about he's like that nuts and they had to get the bodyguards, like I was like, yeah, you're definitely right. I wouldn't want to mess with that guy, even though he looks kind of schlubby.
He reminds me of there's all these stories about like famous Samoan wrestlers like Jimmy Snuka, like would fight police, and like Haku supposedly bit a police dog and stuff. Like that's what Sonny Landham sounds like to me. It's like everybody just knows coming in, like don't mess with Sonny, just let him stay in his trailer and do whatever he does.
Like they're passing out like memos beforehand, like when okay, Sonny's gonna be on set, guys. So you know, watch
Do
your
not
p's and q's.
do not feed Sonny alcohol or cocaine, please. There's just a sign there. This jungle stuff, it's all so creepy and ominous. Like it this is where it becomes almost a horror movie to me. Like there's fog that you can't see too far in front of your face. Like the guys can't run because the ground's uneven. And then, we sort of kick in this most dangerous game plot where they start getting picked off one by one. So, yeah, this is part of my whole build up to Halloween type movies where it's almost a horror movie. All the
Oh
elements of a
yeah,
horror movie are here. It's just not quite a horror movie.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Right
even
on the doorstep.
when I was younger and I would watch this, to me, this was a horror movie. Like I saw this as a, I mean, if you're a kid back then, scary movie, But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like it was almost kind of though Arnold was in it, so you're kind of like he's not gonna die.
Well,
It's like,
that's
oh,
there's.
Arnold will take care of it.
I'm eating tortilla chips, white corn chips. Thank you, Katie. For some reason, my that first beer, I was like, I need something in there to soak it up. But the uh, the tortilla chip company isn't sponsoring the stream, so they don't get a free plug. But call us. Yeah, this right here, we're coming up on the scene where they find the skinned guy or whatever, and there's just blood everywhere and all this. But I think there are certain things that sort of like let the air out of the possibility of a movie being a horror movie. Like for some reason, police involvement. For some like Silence of the Lambs is basically a horror movie, except it's a police procedural, so nobody ever wants to call it a horror movie. And like this feels like some army guys out doing army guy stuff in the woods, and or the jungle, I should say. But instead, really, yeah, it's just most dangerous game. They're being eliminated one by one. They're being skinned alive. It's bloody and gross. All the elements of horror are here.
Yeah.
Pe- People screaming in terror while running for their lives in the woods.
In this case, it's Arnold yelling, "Get to the chopper!" in
Get
the
to the
jungle.
chopper. Get to the chopper. Call me VP.
Now, I like when he
um,
tells him. I like when he tells him right here. He's like, "Do you know anything about this?" Like, if you really look closely at Carl Weathers' face, he's kind of like playing it off like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on." Like he does it.
yeah.
Like I don't know. He did it. He did. All these guys did a great job in this movie. Even there, that look that he gives it to Schwarzenegger, like, what? Like, really? I don't know anything. You know?
Seems to
I
me
don't
like
know.
Carl Weathers had the nerve to read the screenplay before they started shooting. Wait a minute, you know what happens at the end? No one is supposed to know what happens at the end.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess the other cool little tidbit is this technically is taking place in Valverde. So I don't know if you've heard of that before either. That this the jungle is considered Valverde, which is
Uh-uh.
also taking place. Commando is taking place in Valverde. And then
Oh, okay.
if you watch Die Hard 2, the guy that the colonel or whatever that they save from the plane, he's from Valverde. So it's like
Huh.
all in the fictional that fictional country of Valverde.
Did did McTiernan do Commando?
Who's the
The
director?
director? I don't know. Because he
No,
did because didn't McTiernan do Die Hard 2 and he did this, right?
he might have done. Yeah, I think he did do. Wait, hold on a second. Tell you right now. No, it's
Bam.
Mark L. Lester.
Oh, Mark Lester. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, I
The
don't think he did that one. Stephen E. D'Souza wrote the screenplay for Commando, and I think that's part of the connection
there you go. Yeah.
to
Because
everything.
usually there's somebody around who's trying to make those connections if they're not the same director. Mark Lester, look at that. Katie was on it too. Pop on the popcorn.
They
Be
skinned
sure
him.
to check out Katie's channel tomorrow. I think she's got a creators corner. I think she might have one on Monday coming up. She's got a whole week of content already lined up. You can see her upcoming schedule on her channel. So Katie, if you get a chance, make sure to post a link to your channel so people can check that out. Look at all this, just people's guts laying around and stuff.
So
Like I
barbecue
think this
time.
this is kind of in like the Aliens 2 category. Like it's a horror movie, but people, yeah, just because of the military, the competency of the people fighting the antagonist, they don't really consider it that.
Well, Aliens 2 is more. It's a numbers game.
Or Aliens, whatever. I always say Aliens 2 because they've made so many damn alien movie. People don't know what I'm talking about. You know, the Aliens one. Like, oh shit.
You know that one with Bill Paxton,
Uh,
and they're like, "Oh, Predator 2." I was like, "No, the other one." Well, if you think about it, it's like so he was in the sequel to Alien, and he was in the sequel to Predator. That's how you know. And he was in Commando for that one
okay.
scene, man.
Yeah, he
He
does
gets
have
him.
that one little cameo.
Oh,
There was a firefight, which is also, I think this line is also reused in Boondock
Boondock
Saints.
Saints.
You knew. You knew. There was a firefight.
I remember the first time
Uh,
I saw that movie. Man, I was blown away. I was just like, "Wow, this is incredible." Then the second one came out, and I was like,
yeah, exactly. And what are you doing to me? Wait, I got the steel book for Boondock Saints,
"Nice."
and then I got part two on one of those cheapo DVDs, just like yours. It probably even has the
Payback time.
no. Yeah, I thought it might be the cheap plastic. Um, did you ever see Overnight, the documentary about the guy who made
Oh
Boondock
yeah,
Saints?
I did.
Yeah, it's good.
That's
About,
really good.
about like how he just becomes like a total egotistical jerk and loses his way, and all his friends end up hating him and stuff.
I was like, "Wow, man, you really." And then all the power play he was doing between the movie studios for the movie, I was like, "Wow, that's crazy. Can't get away with that anymore."
Well, that's what I often think when people do that whole thing where they're like, "Hey, squeaky wheel gets the grease," or "I'm gonna, this is my leverage point and stuff." I'm like, if you push leverage too hard, you will get written away, and we will never hear from you again, sir.
Yeah, I feel like, man, the fact that he did all that stuff, and for him to still be able to make his movie and still be able to make the second one. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, what is he doing now? They keep saying that they're gonna do like, I think for a long time they were gonna say they were saying they were gonna do a series, and then they were gonna do a third one, and then a series again, and it's just like it's still like in limbo.
Well, it's gotten like when it first came out, it had like cult classic kind of status. Like I heard about it word of mouth. I didn't see a
Hmm.
commercial for it or nothing. But then since then, it's kind of taken on a role. Like people think it's kind of a douchebaggy bro type. It's the affliction T-shirt of movies,
I
and that's
believe
just
it's
kind of like the yeah, that's kind of where it just sort of ended up landing. So I think it's a split audience. Like I think 50% of the audience is like, yeah, I'd love to see that. The other hand's like, yeah, it's just kind of mindless violence. I'm like, it's a ripoff of Tarantino, but I like good Tarantino ripoffs.
there's nothing wrong
Yes,
with
Katie.
mindless violence,
Well, if it's done smartly.
right? Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
if you were growing up in the '80s, I mean, come on, Terminator, yeah, Terminator's a great one.
Welcome, Jose. I like all this whole section here where they do the raid on the other camp and we see Arnold and his boys doing their like commando stuff with the hand signals and all that. Like all that's this feels like they went to an afternoon of military training somewhere. It will
Well,
be
it's like,
tremendous. We'll have Sonny Landham doing push-ups in the mud. We'll be running downhill. We'll be doing this. We'll have the night vision.
did you hear that story about Did you hear that story about Ventura and Arnold? They would try to like they had a competition who had the bigger like biceps in this movie.
I've
Did you
never
hear
heard
about
that,
that?
but I can believe it. I can believe it.
So apparently Arnold, being the savage that he actually went to like the makeup person and like said like he's like, oh, tell Ventura this, that like you think he has bigger, whatever, and then like they measured and he got all like hyped up like, oh man, yeah, I got bigger biceps, and then like it turned out like Schwarzenegger actually had bigger like biceps than him.
They tricked him.
Yeah, they tricked him. I was like, man, that's pretty savage of Schwarzenegger, man.
I could see him doing that. Do me a favor. I want you to use a rigged tape measure and tell him he's bigger than he actually is. And then I will come in and everyone will laugh. It will be tremendous.
It would be
Look at
fantastic.
it. Jesse Ventura's gun needs its own prequel. Just the gun, the story of that gun. It's insane. He's got a whole backpack full of ammo and then just this big machine gun.
And
Like
I got
M60.
and once we get to that point, the point where he gets taken care of by the predator. I have an interesting like question for you, but I'll
Okay.
wait till that point. But right here, yeah, I just love this whole like this sneak up and them like disarming the bombs and like just kind of like slowly coming in, sneaking and stuff. That's like
Well,
you
what
said.
where are we? We're at 123. Oh, sorry, wait a minute. We're at 22:48 roughly. Um, and so we're still technically in the first act. We're just getting out of the first act, and now we're seeing them do what they do. Like they're proving that they're competent. We know they're a military group. It seems like the movie would have opened with this. Like this would have been the cold open before the title, even. But
like
there's
like a
the whole sub.
montage like a montage of them like taking out all
Well,
these
yeah,
other.
we see the military group come in, and then we see them defeat them all. And it says Predator, and then we learn, that it was all just a trick to get them in there. But I think we needed the backstory of Arnold and Carl Weathers, and we needed the epic handshake and all that. So, but yeah, this feels like a cold open scene to me, almost just because it's only here to prove that Arnold and his boys are actual military guys. They're when they fight the Predator, they're legit threat.
Oh yeah.
I don't. So what? The truck with no tire on it is working as some sort of like generator. Is that what they're using that for?
Yeah, I think that's what that is. And I like how he just like stops everything to be like, wait, I got an idea.
Yeah,
Hear me
I
out
think that's what.
here.
I don't think that's why I've never quite totally understood what was going on. Like they have this truck up on blocks, and they're using it as like a generator or whatever, like some sort of crankshaft thing to keep something running. And then Arnold's like, "I've figured it out." And then I've a tremendous chance for me to do some lat lifts.
So deadlifts.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna walk over, I'm gonna pick up this truck, I'm gonna get my tries in, I'm gonna get my tries, I'm gonna get my traps, I'm gonna get my neck. Jesse, can you
Okay,
pick this up? Of course you can.
it's about to go boom. Just watch. It's going to go boom.
Here's another movie that was influenced by Scarface. After Scarface had that damn grenade launcher on the bottom of the M16, like every serious, shoot 'em up had to have the grenade launcher as well as the M16.
And the minigun.
Yeah, wow.
I want to say like this. I want to say this was probably the first movie I ever saw with that minigun. And then I mean, like you see it, you see it countless times after that. Even Arnold has it in T2. He's just like, well, I'm going to show
Yeah.
up Jesse Ventura one more with this minigun in
And
part
then
two.
what in Rambo 2, he's got what, like a big M60, like the big ridiculous
Hmm.
ass. Is that what he's using? Okay. Because I
Yeah,
knew he had like the bandolier with all those bullets. It's just he had like a helicopter gun. My
which
dad
in
found that My dad was in the military and he found that just laughable. He's like, no one person could carry around and shoot that big gun, Don. He's like, that thing weighs 100 pounds and it's gonna kick him back and knock him over like every time. But yeah, the minigun, you can tell it might even be the same prop. That Jesse's gun might be the one in Terminator,
I never know.
depending on who the effects house was.
Well, even he uses Arnold uses an M60 in Commando when he basically takes everybody out at the end.
Yeah,
Which that thing, like, it's funny because in certain scenes of that, not to go too much off on a tangent, you see where the bullets are running out, and then like in the next scene, he's got like a full
they
like.
cut to a new strip.
I'm like,
That
oh well, whatever.
I think that's the type of thing they worry about when they shoot it on the day. But then once you're editing and you're getting down to like the lock date to have a final cut to show to the producers, it's like screw it, whatever. Just so
The
now
other thing
they're
I,
raiding the camp, they're killing everybody.
yeah, I mean, it's like one, like, Arnold just killed like three people with, it's like I guess nobody can spray and hit him, right? You know,
He's Arnold. He's got
yeah.
anti-bullet technology going on there, along with the rhino semen he's injecting.
So these are like prototype stormtroopers, then basically.
Pretty much, that's kind of why I took it too. Like if you wanted to make the case that this is just like we need people, just some generic Spanish speaking guys that we don't need any backstory. Just we can kill them off. There's what's his name, Jord Svensson or Torg Johnson, whatever the hell his name is. That's in all his movies. Arnold's like, I think it's his weightlifting buddy or something. He's in Running Man, and I
Oh
think his
yeah,
name's
he's the guy in Running Man where it's like, I do steroids, or what does he say at the end when he leaves?
yeah. Good steroids made me deaf or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, too many steroids. Um, but that guy turns up in all of Arnold. He's James Earl Jones, like henchman in Conan.
yeah.
Um, so they've been around for a minute. Like Bill Dukes, Bill Dukes had nothing to do this whole damn movie, and here he comes in and just starts giving exposition, and everybody just stops and listens. Like, yes, sir, whatever you say.
It's Bill Duke, man.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like, I his face, like I think him being sweaty and so cool in this movie is part of the reason Danny Glover in that LA heat wave is what goes on in part two. So like we need that. That feels like Predator. I ain't got time to bleed.
You got time to duck.
Classic.
I love that comeback though. Got time to duck.
Got time to duck. I believe right around this time, like right before this, Jesse Ventura was still. I think he maybe done one other movie or two other movies before this, but around this time he tried to get the WWF at the time wrestlers to form a union. and Hulk Hogan snitched him out, so that he was being a union organizer. So Vince basically fired him, and he went off and did a bunch of Hollywood movies. And then later on, Vince brought him back and stuff. So as I recall, Jesse here is on the outs with Vince because he was trying to union organize.
Dang. I always remember the boa.
Yeah, he. It's so funny. There was this dude, superstar Billy Graham, and everybody stole all his gimmicks, like Hogan and Ventura. And Ventura hates Hogan because he says that Hogan stole all his stuff. It's like, dude, you stole it from superstar Billy Graham. Like, yeah, but when I stole it, it was new. It was,
But I stole it first.
yeah, exactly. Now you're like an Indian giver stealer. Like, I stole it and it's mine now. For you to steal it, that's just tacky. Like, Carl Weathers, once again, just like, look at his stern face. He's not giving Schwarzenegger an inch.
Yeah. It's like I could take you. Like,
Uh huh.
yeah, I don't think so. You barely took Rocky. I don't think you can take Schwarzenegger.
Well, he's corrupted. He's got a black soul, like from being, corrupted by the CIA or whatever. So evil always is likely to lose, as where Schwarzenegger is pure of heart. So that's antagonist protagonist 101. Good is stupid. Good is stupid. Evil is flawed because they're just so evil for no reason. Can't you be good, Carl Weathers?
I like how he asked the girl like in Spanish if she's okay, even though she just
Mhm.
got like a gun butt to the face
Everything.
by Schwarzenegger. I'm surprised he
She's
didn't
had a
like take her head
concussion.
off.
Yeah, small as she is.
Yeah.
Sonny Landham, just man, he's scary. Like
Though,
just his face.
aside from this one, I was gonna say like the only other movie that I had seen them after this one, or rather the second movie I saw with him in it after this one was I think it was Best of the Best 3.
Oh wow.
Was it 3? He was in 3 or 2? I think it was 3. He's
I don't know
like,
if I've seen two or three. I've seen two. One is Eric Roberts and Chris Penn, right?
yeah.
And then two, are they both back in that one?
Yeah, they're both back in that one. Chris Penn actually dies in a underground like kumite
Okay.
sort of fight thing run by uh Wayne Newton.
There you go. So yeah, I did see two. So I saw one and two, but yeah, three I think I'm out on.
Yeah, I think it is 3 where he comes out in. And he's like the half brother of Simon Ray's character. Like the main guy, Tommy Lee. He's like they're like half brothers or step brothers or
Okay.
something in the third one. And he's like nuts in that one too. He's basically playing himself. He's like an alcoholic and all crazy and stuff.
Yeah. Playing that just insane lunatic, yeah.
Yeah.
But how did Sonny Landham support himself then? He's only been in like 10 movies, and if he's just insane to work with, and you know what I mean, he's clearly living a wild lifestyle. It just seems like
His
he would have
his agents was probably afraid of him, so he was like, "Okay, I'll get you a role. I'll get you something. I'll
he's
get you
he's giving
something,
him other
Sonny."
actors money.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, I
Whenever
wasn't
you
even in a movie. Here, no, it's like, this is residual
uh,
check. Here you go."
whenever you hear about some big actor getting all their money stolen by their money people or whatever, that's where it's going. It's Sonny Landham. It's like anything to keep Sonny out of my office angry.
Yeah, man.
All this with the infrared vision and the thermal vision, whatever you want to call it, and then like the recording of the laughter and all that, just great. Uh, very simple technology. I don't even know if this was an actual thermal camera. This might have been some crap they did in post.
I believe so. Trying to remember. Yeah, I think they did this in post, if I'm not mistaken.
I've at one point or another, like when I bought the two set collection or whatever. I went through and I watched all the special features and the making of and stuff, but that's been years. So some of it, like when I look at it, I kind of remember like, oh yeah, I recall this scene with the how they were trying to explain the predator's logic of his outer garb and how he sheds it and stuff.
I mean, the big. I mean, I guess we can at this point now that they're introducing the predator. I mean, it's the muscles from Brussels originally.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was waiting for him to show up for. We had to talk about that. How would this movie mean more if people thought Van Damme was still in the Predator suit? Or is it better because it's a big ass dude in it who looks imposing?
Well, see, the interesting thing about that, and what a lot of people don't realize, there's still scenes of him in the suit.
Really?
Yeah,
Because wasn't
so
he like a red praying mantis thing?
yeah, so that's why, like, I know a couple scenes for sure. There's that scene where later on in the movie where Bill Duke gets killed, like that's him standing over him killing him. And then
Okay.
there's the other part where he's like running through the forest, that's also him. So they
So
still
he was
kept that in there.
so he was there through the transition from mantis to whatever,
Yeah.
but then he eventually, I don't know, must have been just such a problem on set, or they just decided they wanted a taller dude or something, I guess.
It was he would always complain it was too hot, and I think the other thing was like he thought he was gonna be able to like show his face or something like that, or and so like he was just problematic, so they ended up getting somebody else. And then the cool
Every day.
story, yeah, it was like something every day with the muscles from Brussels.
Mhm. He's going to the director every single day, and he's like, "Here's how the Predator is going to do the splits in this scene." The guy's like, "No, he's not. Go back to your trailer." What if
It
we
was like
saw the Predator's ass and he had just a great ass, huh? And it kind of
it was like
lingered, huh? Huh?
and it glistened a little bit.
It glistened. It was a dewy, sweaty alien butt just right up on the screen, huh? No? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and the other story, right, about how they actually got the I guess the predator's face or the redesign of the predator, right?
Uh-uh.
No? So like Stan Winston, he did the creature effects for this, but
Yeah.
he apparently he was on a plane and James Cameron was on that plane and he was trying to do a redesign of the creature from the praying mantis, the arachnid, whatever, the insect looking thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you know, Cameron told him, I'd like to see something with mandibles. And that was it.
Hmm.
So you can thank James Cameron for that little tidbit of the mandibles.
Huh.
I always thought that was a crazy story. I was like, wow, that's nuts, man. Cameron
Well,
had his
that's
hand in everything.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's I was gonna say a lot of times though when these guys get to that level, like the only people they really talk to are like their other peers, because who would understand their trouble otherwise?
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, they had already worked together, what, in Aliens and The Abyss, right? He did effects in The Abyss too, right? Or no?
yeah. Well, I don't. I mean, I all the stuff from the Abyss I recall was all that what do you call it, the liquid morphing stuff or whatever.
Mhm.
But I would assume any of the practical effects he would use a big effects house for. I had always thought the red praying mantis thing looked like that just in pre-production stuff. Like it had to be red because all this is green, so you can't green screen it out because everything will disappear. So you have to find something that's the opposite of green to use chroma key or whatever.
Well, yeah, the red suit was just so like so they can do the camouflage effect or whatever.
Yeah, where it
So they can do
disappears
that
and comes
part.
and goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean the actual I don't know, I think the look of the actual arachnid looked kind of cool. And going back to Predators, they use that design for those creatures that are like running around in the forest.
Oh yeah.
I think the face is a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same sort of like movement and the same like the body part of it. They kind of reuse that, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then the other thing that was cool is NECA actually used that as a part of one of their predators, the alpha predator as well. They used they have like a head in it in the figure or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
So I like that. I like that NECA actually brought. That's the other cool thing about going back to like NECA and stuff. They kind of like reuse or they do the deep cuts type stuff.
Yeah, they go far in into the lore on the stuff they do. I like that.
Like this part
Those
where he's like Billy, what's got Billy so spooked? I was like,
That's
well,
the
I
part
mean, if
I was kind of lost in. Like Billy spooked scares me. If Billy's scared, I'm scared.
well, I mean, I was thinking about this when I was when we had already talked about doing this. Like this is the first time I thought about like, well, what's got Billy so spooked? Well, I mean, so apparently all these skinned guys that are hanging upside down, you know, none of these guys are afraid of that, like just out of nowhere.
Mhm.
Like these guys that are like top notch Green Berets are like skinned alive upside down. That doesn't spook them. I don't know.
I think that's kind of what they're trying to get at. Like, is even Billy is creeped out at this. Whatever's going on isn't good because even Billy isn't right with it,
Yeah,
and Billy's into some wild shit. And we kind of need Billy. I guess it. That's the in this part of time there was a big like Native American resurgence. I was just watching The Patriot with Seagal the other day, and same type of thing. Like they rely on the natives' medicine. They rely on like the ancient Indian ways to defeat the monster. The modern technology just gets you into trouble. You have to revert back, and they do like that's what Billy's kind of here for. Like when he goes into his whole like I don't know deep trial vision quest state or whatever.
yeah. You got the
Um,
little medicine bag that he's like, trying to gather wisdom from.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
because we're seeing
you see it in like Young Guns also, and then what's that other movie? Braveheart, not Braveheart. That one with Val Kilmer. What was it called again? Thunderheart.
Thunderheart. There you go. Yep. Well, that like I said, for some reason, like through the early before the '70s, kids played cowboys and Indians, and like the Native American was always considered the bad guy. And then I think in the late '60s, with like the hippies and people trying to like rebel against their parents and stuff, all of a sudden the Native Americans became like the good guys, and the cowboys were the bad guys. And all there's like this like over mythologizing of like Native American powers and abilities, and it's kind of almost racist to be like, oh, those Indians, they got magic, you know. It's like the jungle magic trope or whatever. But yeah, I kind of felt like his character was that, and like Sonny's character in this sort of maybe influenced that one in Prey. Um,
Yeah. Um.
the get back to your roots stuff, I guess. Like the only thing that technology can't defeat a predator, but maybe spears and shit can.
Well, yeah. It's just the man. I don't want to say too much because you haven't seen Prey, but I mean, I think it's because I heard all the like the people online like, oh, how is this like 110, 20-pound girl gonna like take down a predator or whatever. I was like, well, technically, if you think about it, how can like Arnold really take down a predator?
Yeah,
To
it's so big and strong.
you know, I mean, regardless, it's like but it's how he does it here. He does it just from like you know how Carl Weather says later. You really think this Boy Scout stuff's gonna work? He's like, well, yeah. I mean, that's how he ends up taking him out.
Yeah, that's what I
I
mean.
mean,
It's almost like a off the grid approach or something. Like the answer isn't superior firepower. The answer is ingenuity or whatever.
yeah. The answer is naked and afraid.
Pretty much. It'll be great. I'll be naked and covered in mud. I'll be walking through the woods. The moonlight will glisten off my pecs.
I swear he
She,
won't see me. He won't see me. I swear.
yeah, no one will notice you at all. Do you think they originally wanted Maria Conchita Alonso for this role? They just couldn't get her because it feels like it's supposed to be her.
Yeah, you know what? I never thought of that before, but yeah, I feel like she would have over she would have been
Oh,
overkill.
she would have over. It would have been too much. She would have been,
Yeah.
yeah. But this woman, is she in anything else? Like, she's good in this, but I don't know I've ever seen her turn up in anything else.
Oh, like that man, that whole monologue that she delivers later when she talks about like when she's talking about like her the what her people say in the hot summers about like we find our men skinned alive, all that stuff. Man, it's like you want to talk about horror. That's like another part of this where it's just like she's given like a basically a ghost story of like some you know monster that her people believe in. She
Yeah,
says
I
it
wonder.
later. She says it later when they're like they have the trap set out and they're like waiting for him to come, like the predator come towards them or whatever. Like she just like she's sitting there, she's just like dead eyed looking into nothingness and just like delivering that monologue. And I'm like, man, if
Well,
that's
that's what I'm
not
wondering if
creepy.
she's maybe like a Mexican actress or like a South American actress. That's why we haven't seen her in anything else beyond this because she's good in it. You know.
Yeah, no, she's really good in this. I wish she would have like turned up maybe I think you see a picture of her in part two
Okay.
when Keys and stuff like when they're in that trailer right before they go into to try to catch the predator. I think there's like a picture of her on the screen somewhere because
Okay.
he
I think I
because
do
he
remember that.
because he mentions that or he mentions like an elite team or whatever, but he's referring to this, and I thought that was kind of cool that they threw that in there. So it's like like hey, we're still in the same universe, you know.
Yeah, keeping it all tied together.
hmm
And then where do you fall on Alien versus Predator? Do you hate them both? Do you like the first, hate the second? What where do you go with those?
I remember being so excited to see the first one, and I liked it. The first time I saw it, I was like, "Oh wow, I like that. That was pretty cool." And then like I realized after I saw it that it was PG-13, and I was like, "That explains a lot."
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about it more, and like I said, there were some elements in that I really do like. I just it didn't. It felt like a watered down Predator movie.
Yeah.
So are you at the part where Dylan or not Dylan, Blaine is already.
Yeah, they just killed off Jesse and Bill Duke is like opening fire on him and we saw kind of a Bill has seen that there's a glimpse of the alien some sort of whatever invisible predator in there.
So okay, so he shot that like plasma cannon through his back, right?
Yeah.
All right, so how does that minigun still work?
I have Jesse's death, it always has kind of confused me because he's sort of standing there and then he gets hit and he's in shock. And we, as an audience, kind of realize he's going down, but he doesn't realize he's going down. And then next, he takes the big shot where it just like blasts through his chest or whatever. And they
Right,
don't
but
really
it
show it wide. Like,
but it would have gone through his back, right? Like through the backpack. So how are the bullets still like running? You know what I mean? Like technically,
yeah,
if the bullets are running out of the back, like out of the backpack, how would that still function? If it
it
like
missed him by that much. It went right in between the two bullet belts.
oh okay.
Precision predator sniper work.
Oh okay. That's what it was.
That's what it is. It's the Predator went to a couple days of training too. Echo says muscle spasm.
Oh okay. Yeah, that had muscle spasm. That's what it
Muscle
was.
spasm. That's a good guess, actually. I'll go with. I'm changing my vote to muscle spasm. Never mind. I love all this where they just open fire and it goes on for like a minute or two, and you get just like gratuitous, superior firepower, And then all of a sudden they like pull back and you can't see anything because it's just all smoke. They just blown apart everything.
It's like you want to talk about destroying the rainforest and clear cutting.
Well, it seems to me there would be more fires too, because they've just unleashed so much like grenades and explosions. And just, it seems if you just shoot up a bunch of trees, that the dry trees will start burning. I guess it's not dry; it's moist.
No,
But
it's moist. Yeah, it's like there's like
yeah,
the humidity.
because all the grenades go off all the time in this, and it seems like it would set the jungle on fire. But yeah, it's so humid, it probably. Look at Bill Duke. He is acting his ass off right now. He's gone from being like stern-faced jerk without a care, and now he's like terrified. He knows bad mojo is going on.
And I have to say that's great acting too, man. Because I mean, again, you see all these
Yeah.
guys that are like the toughest guys you never want to meet in a dark alley, and to see the like that look on his face where it's just like
Yeah, he's
like
terrified.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. He's doing great. Like he up until this moment, he's been completely like unfazable. Like he
yeah,
seems like
he's
he
like
probably murdered
chill.
a bunch of people. Yeah. If he was a serial killer on top of being an army killer, you'd be like, that makes sense. But no, he's terrified. Even back then, they knew to tie the hostage up with zip ties instead of handcuffs.
Right?
Very
I
efficient.
always I always the funny thing about that is if you want nothing to ever get loose or get moved, zip ties.
For sure. That's all my holiday decorating is. You just go to the dollar store and you buy that baggie of big zip ties, like 100 of them or whatever the hell you get.
Yeah, ain't going anywhere. You zip tie anything, it's not going anywhere. I would do that on all my cabling in my house.
Yeah, that's what I use leftover bread bag twisty ties for. It's like, where do the blue ones run? Okay. Yeah, this is just a great premise where like it's most dangerous game, but instead of just one person being hunted, it's a whole military group being hunted, and because of that, we have to have a superior hunter, as it were. What's more superior than the predator?
Arnold.
Yeah. So some would say Arnold or the xenomorph.
I don't know, man. I still think the Predator does a good job against the Xenomorph. I think
I,
the only thing that stops a Predator is their pride against the Xenomorphs. Because if you really think about it, all they have to do is just be like take the high ground and just like blast away. But
yeah.
because of their like their honor and stuff, they want to like get in hand to hand. They want to, so really it's their pride that kind of, in my opinion.
Well, that's the thing. I'd say hand to hand combat, the xenomorph is the better fighter. But then since the predator is a hunter when he's got weapons and he's got in my opinion, a bigger brain. You know, that's usually the key. That's superiority and who's going to hunt who. The food chain is usually who's the smarter of the two. The predator is clearly smarter than the alien.
I love
She
this whole
realizes,
I love this whole
yeah,
like part, man. It's like really cool,
yeah.
like the whole from her realizing the blood to even the parts with like Bill Duke where he's saying goodbye to Ventura and stuff, like all that world, that I guess world building or character building, it's just like, man.
And now he's got like a whole surgical kit in his arm, his little rollout pad there. It's got like a drawer in his arm. Sedatives and everything. Yeah, he's rolling.
Yeah.
I don't
Like
know. That
I'm
seems
about to
boring
feel
to me.
real good.
Yeah. like that's the thing with actual hunting that was never my deal. Is you and your buddy can maybe go, but anything more than that, like you're kind of going to spook off the animal. So you sort of have to be on your own for a lot of it, you know? So just being out in some rando jungle on a planet you've never been to, trying to hunt Arnold Schwarzenegger, it sounds emotionally exhausting. He's missing all his shows.
I like how like the military is like, oh, we can't take you out right now. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, see, when I first saw this, I thought that their military was in on it somehow. Like I thought that the predator was a creature that they had developed, and they sent these guys in to test it or something. Because the military jerks them around the whole movie, like they lie to them and they send them in under false pretenses and stuff. So I kind of thought this was almost like a danger room situation or whatever. Like send these badasses in here to make sure our predator can actually win wars. But then no, it turned out he was actually a real alien.
I never. It's interesting. I never thought of it that way. That's an interesting scenario. I
Well,
just
because
I just came into it like when I remember when I first saw it, I was just like, what is this thing? It's just like an unstoppable, because at the time,
well,
if again going back to like at this time when this movie came out, I mean these were like the most you would think the most testosterone filled, like ripped dudes in all the world, and it's like they're scared of this thing.
they open with the spaceship. It basically opens like how the thing does, or
Yeah,
does um Maximum Overdrive. Do they have the same spaceship at the beginning? I think maybe, or is that a comet that causes it?
it's a
Maximum
comment.
Overdrive. Yeah, um, but yeah, we see the spaceship at the beginning. But when they kept telling the story of like cutting back to the government, like, well, um, Apollo Creed's character keeps lying to him and all that, Carl Weathers. Yeah, it just was a big setup. It felt like, why do we have to keep hearing about the government? Like, it's like, well, that's our exit plan, I guess. We have to keep stretching it out so the movie can keep going.
See, on the expanded universe, or in the expanded universe of Predator, the guy at the beginning, the general, like he knows like something.
Oh, okay.
So that's the
That
interesting
would
part. Like, is that
that
in
would
the
make sense.
expanded
Yeah.
universe, like he knows like something is up, and also there's also like in the comics they have like Dutch has a brother, and it's like it's I think it's Predator Concrete Jungle or something like that, and it's Dutch's brother. He's like a cop in like I think New York or
Wasn't
something like New
wasn't
York or
that the
LA. I can't
original?
remember.
I think that was the original treatment for two. Was it was going to be Dutch's brother, and it was in whatever the concrete jungle. That was the idea. We want to go from the jungle to the concrete jungle. So they were going to
Mhm.
make part two be about like Dutch's brother and uh, the predator, or the predators had showed up to like get revenge on the Dutch family or whatever. But then after they started to get Danny Glover involved and all that, that's when they did a rewrite, and that just all went out the window. So that would make sense. They brought it back in a different form.
Too, kind of, we had already missed it. I was gonna mention, me and a buddy of mine. We always talked about that part where, when you get that exposition from Bill Duke about him and Ventura's character when they talk about their, like, oh, we did, like he basically tells a story of like, we both went in and we both survived this whatever happened. We had this.
Uh-huh.
We both talked this one time about having like, man, if they did a prequel of just them two.
That's so funny that you said that, because I was going to ask you the same question. Is the Dutch Dylan prequel? Who you casting?
Well, no, no, no. I'm talking about Bill Duke and
Oh,
Ventura as
oh, oh.
characters.
Oh, okay. So a different prequel. I want to know
Yeah,
the Dutch Dylan backstory. Like I want Donald
yeah.
Glover and Chris Hemsworth to be in a damn prequel to this. That's what I
Interesting.
was going to ask. who do you got for the prequel of Jesse Ventura and Bill Duke or whatever?
Jesse Ventura, man. Trying to think. It's weird, but I can't think of anybody now that could fill those shoes in a good way. Like
Yeah,
I feel like most of the action, like now, if they were to do that now, it'd be The Rock and John Cena.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You would have to get like, yeah,
Like that's
whatever,
that's
somebody.
the that's the sad thing, you know.
Yeah,
Now that's a good casting for Dutch, which you say for Chris Hemsworth. I think he would kind of fit that. I think he would kind of fit that a little bit of that look.
nobody's that swole nowadays. Like my first thought was maybe Chris Evans because he can cut his hair in kind of that military cut, like how he was for a while with Captain America. But he's just nobody looks like Arnold. He's just a freak of nature. So
Yeah,
Thor, maybe you could say this is young Dutch before he even got bigger.
yeah. Well, I mean, have you seen the pictures of Hemsworth as Hogan? Because he was doing that movie that like he was
Yeah,
doing Hogan, right? He got
there's
like
two.
extra.
Yeah, I
He
saw he
got
was
like
extra swole.
yeah. I mean, man, it's nuts. I like this. I like
So
the
weird.
part where he basically like he tells the girl like, "Hey, and all of a sudden she knows like English.
Yeah, she's been keeping quiet the whole time.
I think it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you mean business? I better speak English.
Yeah, this is all very well written. There's a lot of character development. Well acted. The people in it all. You can tell it was well thought out, even though there was a lot of jumbling apparently right up to the last minute.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's props to the director, obviously. And I mean, yeah, just the story
Yeah,
itself, like the actors themselves, like you said, she does a great job in this movie. And I don't know if she's done anything else beyond this, but she was good in this. I like that, going back. I'm glad that they used somebody that was an unknown other than Maria Conchita. You know,
yeah. That's what I felt like is like they wanted when this was written, maybe Maria Conchita was in there, and then like when they went to go to shoot it, Arnold was like, "I'm already doing Running Man with her," or whatever. That
what
she
what you
she's
do
in too much.
well, you do know that this movie and Running Man originally like were done at the same time.
That would make sense because that when I first said it, I was going to make a joke that he had already done Running Man, and I was like, wait, aren't they like the same year or within a year of each other? This is
Yeah,
peak
they ended
Arnold
up
power.
they ended up pushing Running Man to later, so it wouldn't compete with this movie.
Okay, that would make
Like
sense.
they pushed it to the end. I think I'm trying to remember when that one came out, but I know they pushed it so it wouldn't like compete with this movie.
I have no idea. I'm pulling this completely out of my butt, but if I had to guess, I would say this is closer to like summer money when the theaters are more full, and I
Oh
bet
yeah.
Running Man was closer to winter money. Like I for some reason I feel like Running Man is more like you can release it December 12th or something, as where this kind of has to be out. I don't know, Memorial Day weekend or Fourth of July weekend or sometime when you can make money off it because this is big deal. John McTiernan, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's working with all these other dudes.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if what was this one? Trying to see when Running Man was released because I know Running Man was released later because they were originally going to be released around the same time, but they didn't want them competing because they were like the same studio.
Yeah. Well, you got to space your Arnold out. It's like superhero movies. If they're a week apart, they're going to mess each other up. But they're like 6 months apart. Yeah, you're fine. Actually, I'm going to go use the bathroom real quick for the final explosion. You
You
run
want to
through
pause it?
since you. No, I was going to say, why don't you, since you have Arnold's filmography in your hand there, why don't you go through from start at the beginning and give the audience what you think about each one, like give them some thoughts. And by the time you get to Eraser, I should be back.
Well, so Running Man actually came out November 13th.
There you go. So closer towards the end of the year. Do we know when this one came out?
This one came out. Let's see. This one came out. Don't fail me now. Come on.
I'm guessing warm weather. Don's money's on warm weather. Here's this old girl explaining how they found the bodies in the warm weather. Some of them without skin. She gives her
Yeah,
her
that's what I was saying. This part is like,
yeah.
man.
She gives the skinned alive soliloquy here. How come nobody ever calls the predator by whatever she just said? Because they have a
June
name for it in Spanish.
June 12th.
June 12th. There you go. That would make
Yep.
sense.
This was
Yep, summer.
like right at the beginning of summer, pretty much.
Because you can tell people, John McTiernan, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like it'll get people into the theater to see this. Arnold was kind of the king of summer for a while there.
Oh yeah, because I mean, especially after Terminator, it was just like he could throw anything. Like he could throw a macaroni at a wall, and it's like it's gonna make money.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just a movie of him throwing macaroni at a wall. It's like it's gonna make, oh man, blockbuster.
That's actually a very good idea. We called it Junior, except I had a baby instead of macaroni. It was a different film completely. All right, you give your thoughts on Arnold. I'll go pee and be right back.
All right.
Do you need a beer while I'm up?
So how's everybody doing this Saturday, this weekend? How's everybody going? Everybody doing okay in the chat? How many people do we got watching right now? I'm not driving, so I don't have like all the cool like analytics and Google stuff. This is my first go at this, so bear with me, guys. But I'd have to say, going back, Terminator, probably like my first Arnold film. Loved it. The only part that was scary to me was the eye, the red eye. That was always scary to me for some odd reason. And then I remember, honestly, when it comes to Conan, I saw Destroyer first, and then I saw Barbarian. So I feel like I was kind of let down.
You were robbed.
I was robbed. Yeah, there you go. I was robbed. And then let's see. I didn't see Raw Deal and what was the other one? Red Heat. I didn't see those till later, but I don't really have too much of an opinion on those. Those aren't, they're Arnie films, but honestly, I would say a good side story was Red Sonja to Conan. I would like to say that that's probably like the Conan, you know, 1.5, not quite part two.
I like Red Sonja better than Conan the Destroyer. I agree.
Yeah, because that one actually felt like, it was still in that same vein of like, Conan. I don't think it was as brutal as Conan the Barbarian. Hey, thanks, Mikey. I love this hat too. It's pretty cool. I've actually got this at Texas Frightmare this past year. Mike,
Mikey! Mikey! Cheers, Mikey.
uh,
We're
Mikey, cheers.
cheers to the
And cheers,
crew.
Don.
Thank you, sir. How far did you get into your Schwarzenegger theories? I heard you at Red
Uh,
Sonja.
yeah, I gotta mention, I love this part where he's just like, he just lost it. And he's just like, he's getting his M60 ready and he's going to go after the Predator.
And once again, he's kind of got an Aliens thing going on to him, where there's the killer, the monster is at large, and everybody else in the story and the audience is focused on the monster, but he's
Hmm.
focused on some other BS. He's worried about paperwork or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's clearly got another mission. Like he's up to some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
That's one of the things I
But
love about Aliens is the many levels of what everybody in the movie is doing. Like there's the lady in the jump copter, and there's the Paul Reiser character who's trying to like bring it back home and all that. Like I like they all have different agendas.
yeah, like he's a weasel character that's trying to like make a buck.
Well, that's I think kind of what Carl Weathers is. He's almost the Paul Reiser character, except he's hidden inside Carl Weathers, so we don't recognize it. It's like he's supposed to be kind of a sniveling dick, and we're supposed to hate him because it's Carl Weathers. We're like, dude is just cool. Hey, Mikey's More just subbed you. Good.
Oh, thanks, Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey's a good guy, actually. I met Mikey a couple weeks ago, and every interaction I've had with him has been like this. So I was like, Mikey! So he's a fun time. He's a walking party. I like him. He's deep into deep cut horror movies. Like he'll hit you with some weird stuff from like '83 that you never heard of or whatever. Cool.
Nice,
Thanks. Yeah.
nice. Well, thanks for the sub, man. Thanks, I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah. So there, this all this effort paid off. You're now 3 away from 3 hundo or whatever. So we're creeping away.
I think there's a bit. I like the arc though, because I feel Carl Weathers, he does turn. He makes a turn where he's like, you know what, I want to make amends, and that's when he goes with Bill Duke to kind of. I mean, it's a fool's errand. It's a suicide mission basically, because they think they're gonna take this thing that they don't even know what they're fighting. They think they can take it, but I like that he actually kind of, you know, he tries to make
Well,
up for being a douche.
that's kind of what I was saying. Like everybody in the story has an arc, or like they're living their own perspective or living their own truth, as people say nowadays, or whatever. Like Sonny Landham goes back into like this was prophesied. Oh shit, I better start, going into my deep cultural stuff. Bill Dukes is kind of like nothing phases me until he gets super phased. Then he's like a big wuss all of a sudden. Damn, I was in the Bill. Um, then, like I say, Carl Weathers is like half a sniveling creep, but also almost Schwarzenegger's equal somehow. And old girl, the hostage, who no one introducing what's her name? She's killing it. She's got the whole sub story where she's like a gorilla or whatever, but then she's been captured, and everybody has something to do. Even Jesse Ventura. You know,
Yeah, like everybody has a story to them. They're well thought out.
yeah.
You know.
Because
Like,
normally, like in this structure, like in a horror movie structure where a bunch of people are just being picked off, we don't really get to know a bunch of them. So I mentioned that the two dudes, the guy who jokes and the other white guy who looks just like him, they're the same guy to me because they're unnecessary. It's like you could have just made that one character and saved us all the trouble. But here everybody has something to do, but like in an average horror movie or something, maybe two characters have something interesting and the rest are just there to be annoying and get killed. Like we never learn about them, we never care what they're up to, we never see any development. But like look at Carl Weathers' face right now. That's not the same dude who was arm wrestling Arnold. He's
right?
cowardly. Carl Weathers singing "We've Only Just Begun" by the Carpenters and Happy Gilmore. That was inspired casting as hell. When Carl Weathers showed up in Happy Gilmore, that
And he
was
also
fantastic.
and his hand is missing in that
Yeah,
one too.
Chubbs, is that his name?
Chubbs.
Chubbs, I think. Yeah. And the alligators got it, or the crocodile or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like a Peter Pan, Captain Hook kind of thing.
Well, I almost wonder if it's like, oh, we got Carl Weathers. Well, we gotta write it in that he lost his hand. As an homage to Predator. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Call back.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, Chubbs,
Man,
Mikey.
that is so awesome. Where Carl Weathers loses his arm, but the reflex of it is still shooting the machine gun as the severed arm lays on the ground shooting. That's makes this all. Even if this movie sucked, I'd be like, remember the machine gun scene? But in
Oh
this
yeah.
movie, it's like barely rememberable. And now,
So it's all the roids,
also too,
man.
I love any time we see the predator in camouflage mode, because that's like real camouflage, like where
Hmm.
you're just looking at the woods and all of a sudden you kind of see like a hat move, and you're like, oh shit, a person. You know, that's
It's like
how
a
this is.
shimmer.
Yeah, it's like you just stare in real. It's like a what are those magic eye paintings where you relax your eyes and a sailboat appears. Like you just stare at the jungle and it's like there's a person right there. I can see it moving. Like
It's
that
a schooner.
feeling. That yeah, exactly. It's a goddamn sailboat, you dumb bastard. When he called that little girl a stupid bastard, that was one of
That
the
was
last times
great.
I belly laughed so hard. I still remember that was maybe one of the last times I ever laughed that hard. You dumb bastard. That's a sailboat.
And then
A
he just
scooter is a
and
sailboat.
the laugh
Yeah.
to that too. You dumb bastard.
Well, to call a little girl a bastard is just extra funniness. I don't know why. So now Sonny's gone full on. Yeah, like you said, Young Guns. That was a great call. The Lou Diamond Phillips character in Young Guns.
Yep.
He's on clearly on a vision quest.
Did you hear? I recently heard they're gonna do a part three.
Young Guns. I did hear that. That was who the hell said that in the chat the other night. One of my movie plugs. I'm plugged into movie people. Um, uh, somebody said that the other night, and apparently there's going to be a uh, what the hell was it last night we heard? Um,
Twins
uh,
3.
there was a Twins 3 coming out. See, the thing is with the strike, everything is jacked up.
You know what I'm really bummed about the strike is they pushed Dune 2.
Yep.
I'm
I
like,
knew that was. I knew it was going to happen.
but I thought it was
I,
already done. That's the thing. That's what I don't understand. Like, I don't know.
sometimes, sometimes you can actually still get a writing credit during the editing phase because you have to do a rewrite and restructure of the story. You know, like, oh, we got to cut a half hour out, so put this part that was there, 20 minutes earlier. And the person who does that can actually kind of get as like a fourth draft writing person.
Yeah, I was just like when I heard that, and that was recent too. That was like maybe 2 weeks ago, I think 2 3 weeks ago. I don't know, man. I to kind of to quote my buddy Newt Wallen of Shock and Awe Schlock and Awe Films. He called it Goth Star Wars,
Okay.
and yeah, I was just like I was like, yeah, it was basically Star Wars, but a more dreary, like darker Star Wars when you really think about it. But man, was that movie great! Like
Yeah.
I didn't, and in preparation, I rewatched the 1980s one, and I
Hmm.
was like, man, this is ridiculous. I still liked it. I actually honestly liked it, but I was like, man, this is ridiculous. How am I gonna like this one? But then again, it's Denny Villeneuve who did 2049, and I've said it many times. I tell anybody I love that movie so much. Like 2049 is my like it's easily my favorite movie of the last decade.
Caught me way off guard. I wasn't expecting it. That was one I went into. It got the benefit of the doubt of me expecting it to be awful. So when it was kind of good and slowly pulled me in and then kept getting better and better, I was like, look at you, yeah, sneaky good.
Well, see that movie actually made me a Batista fan. Like I was on board with Batista after that.
He was good as Drax, but that's a bit of a one note character.
Right.
He
I
just
like
has to say,
Yeah, he just has to like. Well, see, that's the thing. I liked him in the first one. I didn't like Guardians 2 because all he was like he didn't do anything. He was just comic relief, in
see,
my
there you go.
opinion.
I could see them using trying to do a prequel and then portray Dave Batista as young Arnold Schwarzenegger or some dumb shit like that. That would make me mad.
Mm.
No one else has that body. Dave Bautista's like 15 years older than Schwarzenegger is here. This whole scene, I was kind of watching it while we were talking because since when is there a goddamn waterfall in the middle of this jungle they've been in? We've heard no noise. There's never been any rush of water. There's never been any indication of a river. They're never like walking along a riverway. And then just he kind of ends up in the middle of like this beautiful, majestic, like South African waterfall that like, people go to on vacation to dive off of.
It's
But that's how we
magical
get the
Valverde. That's why.
it is magical Valverde. But that's how we get him wet. So he ends up getting muddy, which leads us to the whole thing where he blends in. The you can defeat his superior technology with good old fashioned mud.
Right?
Echo says they would use Arnold's son, the one that he had with the housekeeper. Echo, because I heard that dude looks just like him.
Oh,
I heard
really?
that guy is like the spitting image of Arnold. Like
Wow.
that's how he got caught. Is the housekeeper brought his kid to work one day, or her kid to work one day, and everybody was like looking at him and Arnold next to each other, like, "Oh shit." Even Maria Shriver could catch on to that. Joseph Biana, or are you on some Fight Club shit that we don't know about? His name is Joseph Biana. His name is Joseph Biana.
Couldn't see me.
The mud Arnold is a scary Arnold. Like I wouldn't have guessed that. Like it's because he's always trying to find new ways to show his body. Like he knows his body is part of it. Same with Stallone too. He's going to figure out a way to show off some body. So him to be all muddy, that's another good new Stallone or Schwarzenegger. It's important you see the definition, the brown, it brings out the guns.
They did a NECA version of that too.
The muddy Arnold, that's a good
Yeah.
one.
And he comes
See
with
those,
that torch.
that's cool.
Like it's like very, very it's Arnold, the mud Arnold, but it's only like the accessories are like bare bones. It's like the torch and I think like one other small accessory. Like the commando one that I just reviewed. I mean that thing comes with everything, man. I
Yeah,
was
that
just
had a
like
whole deal, dude.
I was like, oh my god. It's like no other head sculpt. I don't care, man. All those weapons he came with, I'm like, I'll take it. See, so where's the Predator here? You know what I mean? Like, because if you see Arnold in this around this time, like he's already like starting to, I guess, shed the mud. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
when he's doing all his Boy Scout stuff, where he's doing all the traps.
But like I the way I equate it is that basically Arnold is a deer and the predator is a human, right? So like, if you were hunting a deer and you shot at it and missed it, that deer might run off and you're like, all right, now I'm back on the hunt again, or maybe you wound it and you're following a blood trail or whatever. So that's kind of what I think is that the predator just every now and then gets off the scent of Arnold for whatever reason. And then he has to get back on it because he doesn't use technology. Well, he uses the infrared dealy, but I guess he does listen with his
Oh,
little Sonny Landham recording device thing.
and he
And
just like
suddenly
just
it's a
kicks
Japanese
the
horror movie.
yeah, he kicks the body off that tree trunk like nothing. I'm like,
There
dang.
when he pulls the spinal column out and
Yep.
he holds up the skull and we see the skull drop and it's covered in grape jelly or whatever.
I, s- I swear, man, you gotta check out Prey. It's really good.
That's one of them. Like I said, um, what do you call it? Disney Plus just sent me another postcard like, we want you back or whatever. They're like needy girlfriends, dude. Once you break up with them, they'll hit you with emails. They're like, we want you back, man. I was thinking about the good old days when you used to watch Obi-Wan. So they sent me a postcard the other day. It's upstairs in the junk mail. I saw it. So I probably will have to end up getting it. The problem is Tubi really changed the game for everybody.
Yeah, man. I was like
Because I
when I
got
discovered
Netflix.
Tubi, oh man.
I got Netflix and Max and Amazon Prime. And Prime I have because I want fast delivery and all that. So Prime's like a free one almost. So between those three, and then Tubi being free, it's hard to justify buying more than that. Like one time I had Shudder for the 7 days free thing or whatever, but I was like, I just don't know. I watched all the creep shows and I watched Mandy and I didn't know what else to see. I was like, well, I don't think I'm going to use this that much.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's why I canceled my Shutter because I recently canceled it too because I did the yearly thing. And so
Mm-hmm.
every now and again, I would watch the documentaries and I would watch, of course, Joe Bob. I'd watch that every year, and all the specials and stuff. But I feel like, I don't know, man. I just kind of like, I don't watch it enough to justify the cost, you know? And honestly, if you think about it, like 50, whatever it is a year is not too bad when you really think about it per month, but it's still like it hits you at one time, you know? Yeah, see, even Mikey canceled Shutter because,
Yeah.
like you said, Tubi has so much stuff. Like, I was surprised that Tubi had all the subspecies movies. It has Warlock 1 and 2. It has like these deep cut movies that you don't see anywhere else. And that's why I was like, now I watch Tubi all the time. They have Swamp Zombies 2 on Tubi, you know?
Guy, slacking off. Newt.
Yeah, man.
Um, uh, yeah, that's the thing. Shutter, the thing it provided for me most is I wanted to see that Creepshow TV series, and then they had Mandy exclusive on there for a long time. So I wanted to see both of those specifically, and then I noticed it had a lot of other like independent, low budget, stuff I wouldn't find otherwise, but because it's there, I see it. But then when Tubi came into the game, it's like, yeah, we'll do all that if you'll suffer through commercials. Here you go. It's like, well, yeah, I guess I will. Shit.
We'll see now that Max is, or now that HBO is, now Max or whatever. Now you can find HBO shows on Tubi. Well,
Yeah, they
Westworld's on
started.
Tubi. Like there's a bunch of stuff
They
on Tubi now that's like,
um, that's one of the things I guess I never heard this before, but when uh when Max took over, or when Discovery took over Max, and now with Disney is doing the same thing. Apparently, when you shed product from your streaming service, it's a tax write-off. Like the more product you're putting out there is a larger tax bill. So if you get it off your streaming service, your tax break is bigger. And then when you put it on other people's streaming services, then you're getting paid by them for it. So it's a win-win to like, you want exclusive content so people will come, but if you can get rid of like what's it called,
really?
Lovecraft Country or whatever, like if you can
Yeah.
send that off to Tubi, that's a brilliant money making move.
Did you
Apparently
see did you see what Katie just said?
Disney owns Tubi. I think it's a Fox is Tubi.
Really?
um, I thought it, but I think Fox owns a block of it. I don't know how much. It might own all of it, but it could be there. Yeah, Disney is in huge debt right now, because they got caught. All their money is from the parks and the cruises and all that, and that all went away with the pandemic.
Well, yeah,
So now that
well, yeah.
and
Then you
then they
also had the Star Cruise that.
yeah. Well, they basically their streaming service has been a success, but it cost so much money to get going. Their biggest money maker for a long time was ESPN, because live sports didn't really go away during the pandemic. So that
Mhm.
was a continued money maker, like NBA and all that. That was all on.
Yeah.
But now they're trying to, like, I guess Willow is off Disney already now. It's going to Netflix or wherever.
Oh,
Um,
really? Well, I never watched
they
the
made
show, so
Yeah, the Willow show. It's apparently up for sale. I don't know where it's going to be, but I guess it's off the Disney Plus thing.
I was excited, and then I heard a lot of bad stuff about it. So I was like, yeah,
I heard it
not
was the same deal as Amazon Prime Lord of the Rings show, The Rings of Power.
Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
How
heard it.
obnoxious. So here Arnold is fighting the Predator. We got to get back on task.
I
Arnold's
know,
fighting
man.
the
I'm sorry.
Predator at the
I'm
bear.
sorry, man.
Arnold's covered in mud, and the Predator's still using his laser technology. He's got this shoulder mounted cannon. This effects are all pretty good. It's clearly fireworks in the woods, but it looks good. And Arnold's got the traps set up, the old John Rambo in the woods traps. Always go back to
First Blood.
yeah. Yeah, Mikey's pointing out that yeah, Disney's ratings are down now because of Spectrum. So yeah, he has. What happens to Disney will be interesting. They say maybe Apple. We'll see. Well, that'll be another stream.
Oh, wow, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's what they think. We'll see. But never can tell. Disney might buy Apple. F you. No, they don't have that money. Apple's the
No,
richest people on earth. Nobody has that money. Um, so now the
Amazon.
Predators, the camouflage device is no longer working. So the playing field is leveling.
Oh yeah.
Come on, I dare you. That was last night's movie. This movie is the famous "Get to the chopper," but then last night was just "Come on, come
No, he does it
on."
here. He does it here too.
Yeah, he's always wanting everybody to hurry up. It's
Do
did you ever see
it.
those Star? Did you ever see
Do
those
it.
Star Wars documentaries where George Lucas is like faster, more intense? Like
Mm.
like that's George Lucas's direction. Like every time, like okay, same scene, just faster, more intense. And that's why Harrison Ford and them are like, yeah, yeah, we get it, faster, more intense. Uh-huh. That's how I feel like Arnold is. Come on, do
Do
it.
it. Do
Come
it.
on. That's good camouflage. You can barely see him on this print.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole scene right here, I like the makes him even cooler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
of
does.
course.
That was kind of how people like held him back for a long time. Like, well, clearly he's just a big muscle bound dummy. He can't learn English and speak it with a perfect fluid English accent. Like, it's just so stupid. It's like the dude has accomplished more than anyone on the most like minor of skill sets.
I mean, the
Well,
guy. If you hear about like a lot of his backstory, I mean, he's really smart. He's a really smart businessman. He's like, well,
yeah,
back then, like and what he wanted to do and stuff. I mean, just look at like Total Recall. Obviously, it's a Philip K. Dick. You know, it's based off of
yeah.
a Philip K. Dick story, right? So, I mean, it was in development forever, and then because Arnold wanted to do it, like that's why it got made. That's why they had to rewrite it to be more of like because in the original story, I think it was like he was like real frail and like all this
It was
stuff.
the I think the first draft was supposed to be like a Blade Runner type movie. Like he was more of a detective-y kind of a small guy. Like isn't the same character in Minority Report? Isn't Minority Report the sequel to Total Recall? So
Uh, I think they're in. I think they're in the same universe, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the Tom Cruise character was originally supposed to be Old Buddy or whatever, but or one of
Hmm.
them, I think. But anyways, um, but you can show you that character as like a smaller guy. Same with
Right.
an imposter. There's like a Gary Sinise, Philip K. Dick story. It's imposter. Yeah,
Hmm.
he doesn't write stories for big jacked up muscle bound, action stars. Arnold is distracting the hell out of me. He's completely covered in the camouflage mud, and all you can see is his big, huge eyes.
Yeah. It's like it's
Like,
all like super dirty and dingy, but his eyes are like super clear white.
yeah, it's like
Like
the Descent or something. It's
yeah.
got like this haunting.
See, all the horror elements are right here.
For sure, that's the horror elements are all throughout. I mean, we've seen multiple skinned alive bodies and dripping blood, and just oh man,
And that's it. Boom. No more camouflage, Arnie.
roaring as he runs away in silhouette. That's a very artsy shot. It's McTiernan for you. McTiernan's a good director. The
Yeah,
chat
Total
loves
Recall
Total
is good.
Recall. Cheers, chat. Yeah,
I remember I first saw Total Recall on Showtime when it premiered. And
nice.
Showtime, like they played the heck out of it, man. Like they knew what they
Yeah,
had. Like they knew what they had when they were like playing it over and over again.
I saw it in the theater. And then I remember renting it when it first came out, and then the staggering was then it would come out on cable. So I saw it
Hmm.
3 times at each release. I remember being excited for it every time. Like it's premiering on cable this weekend. Yeah, Mikey knows Quado lives.
Quado lives. Yeah.
Yeah, Quado lives, man. That taxi driver or whatever, he raises up his shirt, and Quado's just actually he's got the other thing, and then Quado is the main resistance guy. They go in
Yeah.
back, and the guy raises up his shirt, and Quado's there, like, oh dear lord.
How could you do that? You're a mutant. I got 4 kids to feed. Or no, what does he say? I got 5 kids to feed. So what happened to number 6? Oh, you got me, man. I ain't even married. Oh man, the big reveal.
Every yeah, the big crocodile vagina mouth.
I swear though, man, if you look at each Predator movie after 2, the roar changes. The roar changes after that. And for me that's a big like it's like Godzilla. It's like
Yeah,
Godzilla's roar is iconic. If you look at the Matthew Broderick one, it's changed and that's a big part of like why I don't like that movie. I mean aside from it's like not a good movie and it doesn't look like Godzilla whatsoever.
here, lizard, 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 lizard.
Yeah.
There it is with the big, you all one ugly motherfucker.
I
Oh
like
man,
the and I like the callback to that in part 2 also.
we used to the local team is the Green Bay Packers. For a long time, we had a dude who every time he got a sack, he would stand up and he would do the Predator every time. So it just like made every sack even that much better.
Oh, wasn't that what's his name? The guy with the long hair, right?
Yeah, Clay Matthews, the Thor looking
Matthews, yeah.
dude.
Yep.
Yeah, he was around for a while. That was his thing. He would stop and mug for the camera and pose like the Predator to the screen, like that same pose he just did there.
To go
Predator
off.
just
I
beating
like
the
it.
living hell out of Arnold, just punching him in the face, knocking him around like it's nothing.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like that's what I'm saying, man. It's like people complain about like
Oh, sorry. He was telling me about my team's got to roll with love. No, no, we always do, Mikey.
it's like people would like that's what I'm saying. People complain about like how a 110-pound girl can take out a predator. Well, I mean, look at here. Biggest man in the world is like getting thrown around like he's nothing, and he still
Yeah,
kills them, right?
as long as well, I haven't seen Prey, but as long as she doesn't do like that wire work BS that drives me nuts, like where a 110-pound woman punches a 250-pound dude and he flies back like 6 feet or whatever. Like physics just won't let that happen. That there's not enough there. She couldn't hit him with a sledgehammer and get him to go back 6 feet. Like
She probably couldn't carry a sledgehammer, and
yeah, that's the thing. But when you tell me someone's 110 pounds, but they're smart and crafty and they know how to hide well and they've got a good game plan, it's like, oh yeah, then that makes sense. That's what you're supposed to do. That's why I get so mad. Just the ridiculous. Uh, the Matrix kind of ruined it. People missed the point that the Matrix was a fantasy world, and now all movies look like the Matrix. The point of the Matrix is it was special. Don't do it all the time.
I haven't seen Raw Deal in a long time, Mikey. It's been a while.
Raw deal. We were talking about it earlier. We were kind of breaking down the difference between raw deal and red heat. They're easy to get confused. But raw deal is the betrayal, Remo Williams, and then red heat is where he plays a Russian, I believe. Right?
Rocky Four, man. There you go.
No,
Well, what like I wonder what that conversation would have been like. It's like Stallone comes in, is like, oh, well, I want to fight a Russian. It's like, oh, we just had that one movie with Arnie.
mm-hmm.
He's like, no, 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 I don't want him in my movie. It's like, get that other guy. What's his name? He's gonna be He-Man someday.
I see big things in his future. He's got He-Man written all over him. Katie likes some
John.
of the Matrix.
Oh, I
I
was like
like,
John Matrix.
yeah, exactly, dude. Good fun. Cool off. Let off some steam.
Yeah, Arnold and the
What the
Mafia.
hell was that word? In the captions, it said "whickering softly." I don't know if I'm familiar with the word "whickering." Quit your
Quickering.
whickering.
The hell are you?
Look at him feeling pity over her, over him, or her. I don't know. Why am I sexist? I don't know what the predator is.
I just look like ah man, there's just so much that original Predator, like just seeing his face, it's I don't know, man. That's why with the NECA figures, like they're all the same. I mean, essentially they're the same mold, but the
Yeah.
way NECA just changes the little things about them and makes them they look so different, you know. And I
Yeah.
just and that's why seeing these Predators, like you know, you see this one the way it looks, and then you see the one in part two, it's just like man, I don't know. But then again, it's also Kevin Peter Hall, man. He brings it to life in this one and in the second one.
Yeah, it's his body movement and stuff. He's got
Yeah.
that whole all of this, the makeup effect on the predator when they close up on his face, it looks almost like sea life or something. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
just Mikey says he's got a bunch of those NECA figures. Yeah, uh the horror cat dad here on his channel. I was going to be sure to point out to go over to his channel and check out. Like, there's so many different predator variants for you to see, and the toys. You know, you can kind of get a good look at them. The figures, like the deep cuts of the replaceable heads and all the accessories and stuff. You can get a better look at them than you ever could on the screen. Oh, here's the guy you said has secret info.
Yeah, the general. Yeah, like in the expanded universe. Yeah, this he has even Arnold's character Dutch in the expanded universe. Like in the expanded universe, he goes on to like hunt predators.
Okay,
Like
I could see that.
he's actually like he goes off and he starts hunting predators that come to Earth. So think of like Men in Black where they hear like aliens come down and do something. It's like he's doing that.
So, are those? Is the expanded universe all comic books, or is it some novels? Or
Both. There's comic books and there's novels. I do know Concrete Jungle is like a is a part is basically is a source was going to be like part two or something like that. And then the I don't know if you ever heard of the Robert Rodriguez's original take on part three, Predator three.
huh. Uh-uh.
So he had wrote a script for Predator three, and you can kind of see some of the elements in Predators. Is in his part three, it would have been they get what's his name? They get Dutch, like the Predators kidnap Dutch. They capture him. They capture Danny Glover, and they take him to the Predator homeworld, and they make him fight in this like gladiator type like fight to the death.
Wow.
Yeah, like it was the script was like super huge and super expensive, and that's why like they didn't go with that. But you see some of the elements in Predators. That's why I was like when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is kind of like his old script or screenplay that he did a long time ago. It has elements of that. I thought that was pretty cool.
For a long time, I think Rodriguez was supposed to direct that Predators, but they never. He had to whatever pass on it for whatever reason, and he produced it, right? I believe.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, here it is. There, I always thought this was kind of an interesting touch for this movie. The like individual shots as the closeout, like sort of a pre-credits.
Hmm.
It wraps up, but then we get like each character gets kind of their individual portraiture moment where we see them and their name on screen by themselves, everybody in the main cast at least. So
Yeah, and
that
then
was
except for Arnold, they just took a shot from the movie. It's like he was busy that day when they did the shoot. He's like, no, no, I don't want to do that.
Which is insane. Like, yeah, it's like, well, he doesn't have any other stuff from the movie, like no promotional shots or nothing. Nothing with him laughing behind the scenes or whatever.
Yeah, making fun of Ventura or whatever.
What you said you have those? Do you still have that Predator NECA figure next to you there? That box
Yeah.
on the side of it. Does it have like a? Doesn't it have like a little number logo thing, a little red triangle or whatever?
No,
One of them.
those are on the part two ones.
Yeah, there we go. Because one of your ones I looked at and I was like, "Holy crap! That looks like a giant version of the DVD box almost." It has like the little cataloging number on the bottom, except there it's a logo, but it's in the
Yeah,
same placement on the side.
yeah. So on the Lost Tribe, the line it has the numbers of the Lost Tribe of the
That's
releases. So
awesome.
like so it has like 1 through 10, and it has a on one side it has the I think it says like the anniversary, and on the other side it has a numeric like down the line what's and I just to let you know I just ordered another one from the Lost Tribe, so it should be coming in next week.
So now what you've got like 9 of 10 or 8 of 10 or something, or you'll have one.
I think I'm missing. I think I'm missing three more or two more. I gotta go back and look. Yeah, I'm missing.
Mhm.
I think I'm missing three more. Well, with this one, it'll be like three more that I'm missing.
Oh, Aliens is over my shoulder, so I won't get up and get it. But the Alien box set that came like when you bought all four of them or whatever, it's this same Aliens or same packaging as the Predator. And the Aliens series all have these little numbers two along the bottom of them. They're 10, 11, 12, and 13. And then this is 15. And I'd
Hmm.
always kind of wondered what the hell could 14 possibly be because Predator 2 isn't any number. So sometimes I
Hmm.
try to figure out like where the hell. So when I saw those the collection line numbers on the bottom, it reminded me of that right away. It's like there's that weird numeric numbering system. What the hell?
Huh.
So,
So, are you
but
talking
I'm
about
anxious.
the quadrilogy, or are you talking about the
Yeah, the DVD box set of the quadrilogy. For some reason, I'm assuming it's a 20th Century Fox numbering scheme of some sort. Because, like I said, Alien is 10, Aliens is 11, Alien 3 is 12. But for some reason, 14, I can't figure out what that is. It's
Hmm.
so I don't know. But yeah, I noticed that when the line showed up on that on the Lost Tribe, HBO Max or Max, whatever we're calling it these days, is recommending Bloodsport next. They know me. They're learning me. They've been watching my streams. I'm pretty sure. Hey Don, just so you know, Bloodsport, buddy. You know, seems like your thing.
Hey man, well, Bloodsport is a classic. I don't care if it's based off a lie or anything. It's still a good
Yeah,
movie.
exactly. Old crazy, what's his name? Frank Dukes or something like that. Is that his name?
Yeah, Frank Dukes.
Yeah, he's a nut. I watched like a YouTube documentary on him, and like as soon as it was done, I forwarded it to like 4 or 5 people. Like, you gotta watch this. This dude is crazy.
Well,
He's like,
I've seen pictures of like him like dressed up or whatever in his. And I was like, wow, I didn't know he was that nuts.
well, he's like basically Steven Seagal is the same type of dude. He just showed up one day and like, did I tell you guys how I'm like a CIA killer? It's like, oh, okay. Thanks for the info, buddy. Like, you got any proof? No, I'm not allowed to.
Yeah,
Sarah.
Mikey. Yeah, Mikey. Those Toonie Terrors are pretty cool. I don't have too many of those, but I like that they
Frank
have that
Duke.
Scooby Doo look. Like put up your
Yeah, those
dukes.
Toonie Terrors are nice. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Juan. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everyone. We just wrapped up watching The Predator. We're having a rousing discussion about the future of the Predator series. If they made a Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger prequel, who would you guys cast to play them? I went with Chris Hemsworth and Donald Glover. You got a pick?
Donald Glover. I don't know about Donald Glover. I feel like he's not as he played a good Lando, but I don't know about Carl
He's
Weathers
he's
though.
I've seen him relatively built before. Like I think he had a rap video where he was walking around shirtless, and I was trying to think of somebody who could also pull off. You got to look like you're Carl Weathers. Like that's a hard guy to look like, you know.
Yeah,
Mike Michael Jai
that's a good
White's too
question.
old.
Yeah, Michael Jai White. Maybe in his heyday, I would have picked Michael Jai White.
Yeah, or Wesley
All
Snipes if he was younger. But Wesley's like 60 now too.
yeah, I would still choose Michael Jai White over Wesley Snipes though. I feel like Wesley Snipes would play Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, yeah, he would want a lot of ISO. The
Yeah,
Creed guy,
Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, I can kind of see that.
or
Oh,
what's the
no, you
dude,
know
the
what?
canceled guy, Jonathan Majors.
No, the guy, the Bozeman, the guy that passed away. I think he would have been a good.
Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan could play Apollo Creed.
Hmm.
Obviously, duh. um, yeah, that would work. So yeah, I would say as an alternate to Hemsworth and Glover, you could go Jordan and Evans. I don't know who's a swole white guy who could play young Arnold.
Uh,
Channing Tatum's got a little too long in the tooth at this point. I think you could use
yeah.
him.
Trying to think. I can't think of anybody other than I think Hemsworth would probably be the best, like
Yeah, that big
closest.
Thor rat. Mm.
Yeah.
They. I'm back. Okay, good.
Yeah, you
Shut
were
me down.
just gone for a second there.
Okay, good. It said it shut down. I thought we were shut down. Then it said live. I was like, okay, never
It's
mind.
like
Anyways, we'll.
Google's
How do
kicking us
you
out, man.
how do you like? Do you usually stay up? Are you a midnight rider? Or you go to bed around this time? Or
Weekends, I mean, it's around this time. The weird thing is I'm getting like feedback.
oh really?
Like I'm
That's
hearing
weird.
myself.
Oh okay. Well, we'll wrap it up. I think me and you coming up into the Halloween months here, we might need to schedule a watch of The Fog. You're my fog brother. I know you're out of anybody else, you're the guy I go to for The Fog. You feel my pain. I'm loving it.
I'd definitely be down for that, man.
Yeah, yeah. I think with Halloween coming up, we may have to have you back. But
Oh,
thanks for
Mikey's hearing
coming on and
feedback
being.
too.
You getting it? Oh, Mikey loves feedback.
No, no, no. He's saying I think he's getting.
Oh, he's hearing it as well. I thought he was just cheering on your feedback. It was like, yeah, go Larry's feedback. Yes, feedback. Um, all right. Well, thank you for coming on and being my predator expert and watching a movie that's Halloween horror adjacent, but not quite horror with me. Uh, you were a good first
Yeah,
guest.
man. I mean, thanks for having me on.
I appreciate it. You were my first. I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you in general, Larry. It was nice seeing your face, the reveal of Larry's face to the world. So,
Yeah, man. I was like I told you, I was pretty nervous about it. I didn't know if I was gonna do it.
all right. Well, it sounds like the audio's crapping out on us. It's a good time to wrap up. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for coming. Mikey, Sarah, Katie for holding it down. Popping the popcorn was here the whole time. She's awesome. Echo was here. I'm pretty sure he was listening while he was watching. Everybody who watches in the future, shout out to the future. You time traveling nuts, you. I love you. Um, Thanks
Thank you,
a lot for
everybody.
watching. Join us again next time. Make sure to follow my guy Larry. Make sure to follow me. Make sure to follow everybody in the chat. Make sure to follow your dreams. And I love you all. You guys take care.
I'll take it easy, guys. Have a good one.